everyone, get ready for a captivating journey that will leave you craving for more.
From exploring the depths of our world to understanding the human psyche. Come join us on this adventure.
I'm Elizabeth.
And I'm Tyler.
And this is the Edible Attitude Podcast. How's it going?
Hey babe, how are you?
I'm okay. How are you?
Great. My week's been good.
Well, it is only Tuesday.
It's true, but it's still been good.
Fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Mine's been pretty decent. I've been keeping busy, which is unusual.
Good. I'm glad.
Anything fun happened? How was your Thanksgiving?
Well, our Thanksgiving was good.
Oh.
How was yours?
It was wonderful. Yummy food, good people.
And then you made me put up Christmas decorations.
Yeah, the day after Friday is the day we decorate for Christmas.
That's bullshit!
Well, I'm glad I know that now.
And I love my gnomes. They make me very happy.
You have many gnomes.
I do have many gnomes, but I have room for many more.
Do they have... Please no. Please don't.
I have room. I need at least one more up on the...
Oh, yeah. It's always going to be at least one more.
I need it because it's uneven. No, they do not have names yet.
They don't have names.
I know. Weird, huh?
I suppose. You got to have the girls here to help you with the names.
Inspiration, you know. Well, today we're going to talk about weird origins. Have you ever wondered how things were invented or why they were invented or where they came from?
Yeah, all the time.
All the time?
All the time.
Yeah, like what?
Like words. Like weird origins for words. I always think about those.
Well, that could be another one, but this is just about random things. So I have a list of random, everyday things and how they originated.
Ooh, I'm excited.
So we're going to start off with a treadmill.
A treadmill?
Treadmills, yeah.
Treadmills.
Where do you think the treadmills came from? Or why?
Germany.
No, but there's a lot of German things in this list because those Germans are pretty...
They're good at engineering random shit.
Yes, that's the word I'm looking for. All right. So treadmills, from industrious to punishment.
Oh.
Yeah. The origins of the treadmill aren't rooted in any form of recreational exercise or sport. In fact, it developed from the world of engineering and construction. Throughout history, the treadmill in most of its iterations has held a strong connection to manual labor.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
In the 1st century AD, the Romans used a precursor to the treadmill known as the tread wheel, or polyspaston, Latin for hoisting tackle with pulleys crane. Yeah.
Okay.
This human-powered device was essentially a large wheel attached to a crane. Used in place of a traditional winch, men would walk continuously within a large hamster-like wheel.
Okay.
Yeah.
I feel like I've seen something like that in, like, history books, maybe.
And the subsequent movement of the wheel would cause the attached crane to lift heavy objects. And due to the diameter of the actual wheel, the lifting capacity of the treadwheel crane was around 60 times more efficient than the purely man-powered construction methods previously used by the ancient Egyptians to build the pyramids. It's a great feat of engineering, if you think about it.
Yeah, they really jumped ahead.
Sure did. The first treadmill for manual labor was built in 1818 by William Cubitt. It was a wooden cylinder equipped with a handrail that worked like a hamster wheel, making the users walk without ever getting anywhere. Cubitt put these treadmills in prisons, where they'd make convicted criminals walk on them for up to 10 hours a day.
No frickin' thanks. Please, no.
Well, then simply just don't commit crimes and you wouldn't have to.
I won't.
Okay.
I absolutely won't. No, I don't want to walk on no hamster wheel.
Not for 10 hours a day?
No.
Well, you walk around for 12 hours a day when you work.
Give or take, but yeah.
But I guess you do get breaks.
True. They didn't.
Right. True. So eventually, Sir William went on to design a version of the penal treadmill that could be used for pumping water and grinding corn, though it has still remained an arduous, physically punishing task for prisoners.
Again, I could see that.
The treadmill was eventually abolished in 1902, and with that, the treadmill as we know it today began to slowly take shape.
Cool.
Yeah.
So from prisoners to working out, huh?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
I know. I knew there was a reason why I didn't like treadmills.
Well, there's a lot of reasons I don't like treadmills, but yeah, that would suck. I bet you there's people who walk on those suckers 10 hours a day for fun.
I don't know about 10 hours a day.
I could see that. Maybe if they have like a strict regimen of something, like they have to lose so much weight for like
Yeah, but 10 hours is a long time,
10
dude.
hours is a long time.
I know they have those mini ones that you can put under your desk and you can walk while you have stand up at your desk.
That would be horrifying.
And then-
I would hate that.
I have a stand-up desk, but I've never used it.
I have a desk that I stand at.
Yeah, it lifts up so that I can stand and still do my work and do my typey types.
Cool.
And this next one is about lettuce.
Let us pray.
Amen.
Lettuce, huh?
Lettuce. It started with the Romans as an aphrodisiac.
Lettuce was an aphrodisiac.
Well, those Egyptians, you know, they're a little weird. Actually, they're not.
Obviously, lettuce nowadays is not the same as what they had back then.
It's a little different, but
But
Not
maybe,
really.
maybe it's because
they thought it was disgusting.
so they ate it as an aphrodisiac because it's disgusting.
Well, wait until you hear about what it, okay?
Huh.
Just bunches listen for a second.
God.
Okay.
Here we go.
Lettuce has been harvested for millennia. It was depicted by ancient Egyptians on the walls of tombs dating back to at least 2700 BC.
Holy shit.
Yeah. In ancient Egypt around 2000 BC, lettuce was not a popular appetizer. It was an aphrodisiac, a phallic symbol that represented the celebrated food of the Egyptian god of fertility, Min.
Okay.
The god, often pictured with an erect penis in wall paintings and reliefs, was also known as the Great of Love, as he is called in a text from Edfu Temple. The plant was believed to help the god perform the sexual act untiringly. Isn't that a great picture?
So I just looked up this picture, and that description is pretty accurate. I mean, this dude, he is standing at attention 24/7.
Sure is.
Holy cow. Statues, he's got it, he's holding himself. My God. That's impressive.
It is.
Good for men.
One of the reasons why Egyptians associated the lettuce with Min was because it grows straight and tall, an obvious phallic symbol.
What about the carrot?
It-
Or an eggplant?
It grows down. The carrots grow down. It doesn't grow straight up like the lettuce.
Yeah, but if you pull it out of the ground and you flip it over.
I mean, it's growing up out of the ground, straight and tall,
What about eggplant?
like a penis. I think, though, eggplants grow on a vine, don't they?
I don't know.
Pretty sure. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure.
Lettuce seems to be more associated with like a woman than a man. That doesn't make any sense.
Have you seen romaine?
Isn't that in Europe?
Anyway,
No, I have not. I've seen lettuce bushes.
you've never seen the big hearts of romaine that I bring home and chop up. I guess you don't see it before I chop it up.
No.
Anyway, you crazy.
I guess because they're long. Like they're long.
Right?
In the packages, they're
And
long.
when they grow straight up.
Okay, I can see that now, but I didn't think it was like specific like romaine. I thought it was just lettuce, because lettuce is just in a ball, you know.
Yeah, like leaf lettuce is, or
Right.
iceberg fake lettuce is. Absolutely.
That shit's just water.
Right, it's fake lettuce. The reason why they associate it is because it grows straight and tall. But if you broke off a leaf, it oozed a sort of whitish, milky substance. Basically, it looked like semen.
Oh God.
I tell you, these ancient Egyptians were horny all the time.
Well, there's nothing else to do but fornicate and drink and fight. I guess
Right?
there's that.
Yeah. Ancient Egyptians used lettuce differently than those who would come later.
Oh no, couldn't.
I couldn't guess that one, huh?
Couldn't have guessed that one. No, couldn't imagine it.
The leaves had a greenish blue color and were often removed from the plant due to their bitter taste.
Isn't lettuce also purple?
That's
So-
cabbage.
that's
oh
cab-
no, there's some red. I think there's some red.
I know there's. I know the cabbage is purple, but
No, there's some red leaf lettuce. Yeah.
right.
Mm-hmm.
Did that come later, or are we
That's
just talking
probably
about?
a hybrid. This is what we're talking about from the ancient Egyptians.
Fair enough. We're
Okay.
just saying lettuce in general.
The leaves had a greenish blue color and were often removed from the plant due to their bitter taste. Instead of being part of a meal, the seeds from the bud of the flowers were harvested and pressed for their natural oils, which were used for cooking, medication, even mummification.
Well, I guess there's more than one usage of lettuce.
Yeah. Lettuce oil was a standard in the Egyptian medical books, and even today is used as a traditional remedy for hair regrowth.
You can regrow hair with lettuce,
I guess.
but it has to be actual lettuce, right?
Lettuce, yeah, like romaine.
Not iceberg, because it's fake.
It is.
No, I agree with you.
Oh, okay. Finally, for once in my life.
No, whatever.
The Greeks and Romans later popularized the leafy veggie as an appetizer during the 81 to 96 AD reign of Domitian. When they first introduced a set order of courses, the meal included a salad at the beginning to stimulate the appetite and also at the end to encourage digestion. It was still considered a medicinal goldmine by the Greeks and Romans, but for a different reason than the Egyptians. They believed it helped people sleep. So under Domitian's reign, as the story goes, the ruler would force his guests to eat lettuce before the meal so as to make them struggle to remain awake for the remainder of the visit.
Is that why we eat lettuce and salad before, like, having an actual meal? Is that where that comes from?
I'm assuming so. That's where it comes from, yeah.
Also, have you seen those videos of the lettuce water making people sleepy?
No?
Oh,
So
I have.
Obviously, it's a thing.
Yeah. Huh. Weird.
Very weird. So,
That's kind of cool, though. Did not know any of this.
but how could it be an aphrodisiac and something that makes you sleepy?
One came from Rome, one came from Egypt. There's a difference, right?
But the Romans were also horny bastards, so I don't know.
But they had other shit.
Yes, bathhouses.
Yeah, they had all that stuff. The Egyptians probably did too, for all we know.
Oh, they probably did. What do I know? I'm not a historian.
Yeah, just read the internet.
Google's my friend. So you ever try to figure out where the Wi-Fi came from?
Wi-Fi?
Yeah. Do you know?
I always thought it was like a NASA thing. NASA invented it.
Nope, sure didn't.
Or
I mean, it does have something to do with, like, space and stuff, but
radio. I could see like radio have something to do with it
Yeah.
because the radio waves, and then they figured out how to have Wi-Fi waves. I don't know what they call it.
yeah, absolutely.
And then wireless became a thing.
Yeah, so what happened was it started with a physicist named John O'Sullivan. He's from Australia. He had read Stephen Hawking's theory that small black holes may evaporate, sending out radio signals when they do, and O'Sullivan wanted to prove it. So in theory, we should be able to detect these signals from Earth. These radio signals would be slight and hard to spot, but O'Sullivan worked hard to develop a mathematical tool to find them, and for a long time he just stared into space and found nothing. So he just gave up on it. And then in 92, he took a job with a company that was trying to make wireless computer networks. And nobody could pull it off until Sullivan applied his black hole detection tool to the network, and it worked. So basically, it picked up the radio waves of the internet, and voila,
I'd be damned. He tried to find black holes and created Wi-Fi instead.
pretty much.
What a guy.
Yep, that's really all I know about that. But I thought it was kind of a cool, fun fact, so to speak.
Yeah, it doesn't go very far back in time, I'm
Mm-mm.
sure, as far as the other origins, but it's still an
Oh.
origin.
Well, it's Wi-Fi. Internet's only been around for 40 years now.
No, it's been around a lot longer.
Before the 80s?
The army's had it longer than...
That's true.
They always get shit first.
Very, very true.
I mean, I'm sure they had some form of internet that worked relatively okay. I wouldn't say well, because it was the early stages of the internet,
Very true.
Kind of like phones. The army had phones before
Oh,
it
yeah.
was commercialized.
Yeah, Lieutenant Dan had one as he was calling for help as he was
That's
laying
true.
on the battlefield.
That's
You're
true.
absolutely right.
No, isn't it a radio, or was that just a phone?
It looked like a phone up to his ear.
Well, I know that.
It looked like a phone. I'm saying it was a phone.
It's
like
a phone.
bag phone.
Fair enough.
It's a bag phone.
I'm gonna have to...
Do you remember the bag phones?
No, but I remember the car phone.
That's basically the same thing.
Oh, and then, yeah, they were huge.
They were huge. Well, the bag phones were before your time.
They're
You
massive.
young whippersnapper.
I actually played with one of the old cell phones
Oh.
at my grandparents' house.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this is cool. This is like a radio. No, it's an actual phone. It's a big brick thing bigger than my head.
Yeah, they were amazing.
I don't know where it is, but hope I can find it again.
Oh, I'm sure they have it somewhere.
Probably.
So this next one is bowling. Do you know anything about bowling?
Strikes and spares and turkeys.
Oh, how fitting.
That's about it.
Well, it started as a religious ceremony.
Bowling was a religious ceremony?
Yep.
So before doves came bowling, huh?
Uh-huh.
That's funny.
Well, actually, the Egyptians played it, and then the Germans turned it into a religious thing, and then it went back to just a game. So let's get into it. Here. So most people think of bowling as a fun indoor game to be played with family or friends. And when you think about bowling, what do you think about? You just said strikes and spares and turkeys.
Balls and pins
And renting a pair of shoes.
and shoes, yeah,
Yep.
and slippery floors.
There are different types of bowling. Well, there's 10 pin. We have 10 pin over here. It's 9 pin over in England.
We had to add one more because we're better.
I don't know. I'm not going to get into all that. Long live the queen. Technically, bowling started in Egypt. In the tomb of an Egyptian child buried in 3200 BC, there's a set of 9 stones that were set up as pins and a stone ball. They seem to have been used almost exactly the way we use them today.
So it was like a kid's game.
Yeah.
Cool.
The Egyptian game, though, was lost to time, and it was probably just a coincidence when an identical-looking game popped up in Germany in the 3rd century AD. The first bowling game was played at church as a solemn ritual.
All right.
Parishioners set up clubs that represented heathen sinners and then rolled a stone at them. If the parishioners knocked down all the heathens, they had cleansed themselves of sin.
Sounds a lot easier than like going to confession and talking to somebody about it, but yeah.
Is it? What if you weren't athletically inclined?
I feel like half those people would just throw the rock instead of
Roll it?
rolling the rock.
Just huck it
Yeah,
and hope for the best.
exactly.
And then some people just started doing the rituals and they're like, oh, this is actually really fun. Let's just play it.
Some kids are doing some church ritual in their backyard. Guys, come over here.
And then maybe back there behind, like, oh, if I get a strike, then, I'm going to go to heaven.
Oh, yeah. Sure.
Or a spare, I guess.
Like, either one.
Thank God, I'm going to have to go bowling. I need to cleanse my sins.
If you get a spare, I feel like it's a 50-50 shot at that point.
Yeah, that's all I have on bowling.
Huh.
Are you learning a lot so far?
I always learn a lot.
Good. You should learn something new every day.
I do.
Today you're going to learn like 9 or 10 new things.
Yeah.
Well,
And
you're never going to look at lettuce the same way.
that's true also. And I also recently learned how to eat a cupcake properly.
Would you like to indulge our listeners into how to eat a cupcake?
Absolutely.
Okay, go right ahead.
So for those of you who don't know, you take the cupcake and you don't just shove it in your mouth.
No, that's...
That's what normal people do?
No, that's what uncivilized people
No, that's what normal people do.
Uncultured swine.
Because I guess the correct way to do it is you take the bottom off and leaving some, bottom, like cut it in half, and then take that and put it on top of the cupcake and eat it like a sandwich.
Yeah, that's the best way to do it.
Where's the directions for this on the box? There isn't.
There is no box. You make... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, you make the cupcakes from the box, right? Or if it's not
so
from the box.
you need directions for every aspect of your life.
That's
a life hack.
No one taught me
No
how to
one.
eat a cupcake properly.
It's probably because you got the beatus and they didn't want you eating a cupcake in the first place.
That may be true, but even before that time, I should have learned.
Do you remember before?
I don't,
See,
but
well, maybe someone did. You don't know.
I doubt it. Because normal people eat it by shoving it in their mouth.
And then get frosting all over their face.
Yeah, because you're saving it for later. You got to savor every bite of that thing. And if the frosting's really good, you want to have more.
Frosting is always really good.
Yeah.
You don't like frosting because it's too sweet.
Yeah, that's really sweet.
Just like me.
Absolutely.
Long pause.
100%.
That was a long pause, sir. If you are enjoying this topic and you would like to talk more about it,
You can find us at Edible Attitude or at Edible Attitude Podcast.
on Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. Speaking of something sweet, this next one is about saccharin.
What? What is that?
It's a sugar substitute.
Saccharin?
Mhm.
Huh. Yeah, I don't know what that is, but okay.
All right. So a chemist, Konstantin Fahlberg, was working in a lab at Johns Hopkins University in the late 1800s. As he later explained, he forgot to wash his hands after work one day, which is kind of gross. He left working in the lab.
Yeah.
And he grabbed a piece of bread, and it tasted suspiciously sweet. And thinking he had accidentally grabbed some cake, he rinsed his mouth and dried his mustache with a napkin, which tasted even sweeter. Then he
The
drank...
napkin tasted sweet too?
I'm just saying what this man said.
Okay.
Then he drank some wine. It tasted as sweet as syrup. Finally, he licked his thumb and found it was about the sweetest thing he had ever tasted. Are you dying over there?
Yeah.
I'm so glad.
So
He just kept tasting things. He wanted to
drank
figure out. He just wanted to figure out what was so sweet.
he's like, why is this wine so good? Let me lick my thumb next.
Yes, that's exactly what
kind of
happened.
thought process did this man go through?
Well, it sounds like he was. Well, he's a chemist. So
He was just so confused, and he's like, I gotta eat everything just to make sure.
he realized that one of the chemicals he was working with had to be responsible. So back to the lab he went.
Licking his thumb, and he's like, oh, there must be a chemical that tastes good. Let me go find it.
Yes. So he started tasting the different chemicals. As one does.
This dude was on a mission.
Before identifying the sticky substance as benzoic sulfamide, which became known as saccharin, often sold under the brand name Sweet and Low.
Oh.
So you do know
So
what
he
it is.
so he created did he create the substance like accidentally, or was it just in his lab,
No.
as a happenstance?
Yeah, it was just in his lab. They were like, he's a chemist doing chemist things.
So this sweet stuff was on his shelf for God knows how long.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was using it one day and then just started licking it. Wait. Is there more to this story? Was he okay from eating all those chemicals or trying them all?
Fahlberg had worked with the chemical before, but it took a happy accident for him to taste it and realize its commercial potential.
Oh.
So Fahlberg and his partner co-authored a paper on the discovery, but when he patented the product years later, he listed himself as saccharin's sole inventor. So he cut out his partner.
That's bullshit.
Oh, what a dick.
Yeah, he called him a scoundrel.
His partner did?
Yeah.
Oh,
Says he was
good.
Yes.
He is a scoundrel.
And it nauseated him to hear his name mentioned in the same breath with him.
The fact that he's not a scoundrel, okay, for cutting out his partner. That's not why he's a scoundrel. He's a barbarian for trying all the chemicals.
Hey, you gotta do what you gotta do.
YOLO, I guess.
He was on. He knew he was onto something. He was onto something good, and he wanted to make sure he could capitalize on it or something. I don't know.
I suppose, but oh god.
So this next one is the one that I didn't dig too deep into, so you might want to take it with a grain of salt. And it's just kind of a funny story anyway.
That's
about,
fair.
About flipping the bird.
Oh, okay.
Apparently, what I saw was it started with a Greek philosopher.
I could see that. Wait, just before you start.
Yeah.
The image I'm getting right now is this dude, this philosopher, standing in front of people, philosophizing shit, and they don't like what he's saying, so they're just like flipping him different fingers at this point. Like, hey, get out of here, they're pointing, and then all of a sudden, like, a resounding cheer comes from the crowd, and everyone's flipping him the bird. That's what I guess. I'm guessing.
Okay.
That's what it is in my mind.
Okay, let's see if you're right.
Okay.
Okay. So the first recorded flipping of the bird happened in the 4th century BC. The Greek philosopher Diogenes was watching a man give a speech and, wanting to provide some constructive feedback, flipped him off. He extended his middle finger and curled the two next to it, trying to make his hand look like a penis and balls. So, you were kind of right. It just flipped. So then when I saw that, I'm like, oh, I guess, yeah.
Like, you're a dick. That makes sense. I get it.
So the gesture spread, working its way into the highest arts. Soon the poet Aristophanes had worked it into a play. These were still the early days of flipping people off, of course, and so he had his character helpfully gesture with his crotch while giving the finger, just to make sure people understood what the finger represented. So,
just pelvic thrusting on stage.
Like I said, take it with a grain of salt. I didn't dig into that one too deep because I feel like I wasn't going to offend anybody with that one.
The Greeks be crazy.
They are very crazy. Well, I mean, we really can't lump them all. You should say ancient Greeks.
Ancient Greeks, yes.
So, where do you think the balloon animals originated from?
Clowns.
That's horrifying.
The Druids.
Oh, is the Aztec as far back as the Druids? Because it's sort of as far as back as we know is the Aztecs.
Well, Druids aren't a specific people.
That's true.
They're like a title. Like they're a druid.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway.
The Druids.
So long before Michael Faraday invented the first rubber balloons in 1824, balloons were created by inflating the intestines, stomachs, and bladders of common animals.
I feel like I've heard this.
But they weren't used to spice up the decor at a child's birthday party. They were burned and sacrificed to the gods.
Did not hear that.
The first balloon animals were made by the Aztecs, but they weren't very much fun. The Aztecs made their balloon animals out of animals that range from shellfish and birds to larger species like crocodiles and jaguars.
Good God.
Yeah.
There's some big balloon animals, huh? Or balloons.
Yeah. To maintain the shape and beauty of their offerings. I guess that's used lightly.
Yeah.
There's evidence that the Aztecs practiced a form of taxidermy.
A lot of people have.
Mm-hmm. In some cases, this meant the inflating of the animal's intestines to create a balloon-like appearance. The bowels were cleaned, dried, turned inside out, and sewn with a vegetable thread that stuck to itself when left out in the sun to dry. The process produced an almost airtight seal, very much like the balloon structure we know today. Then the Aztecs would blow them up and twist them into fun animal shapes. It was probably at least slightly delightful by Aztec standards until they set the balloon animals on fire as an offering to their bloodthirsty gods.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's totally fine. That sounds a lot more fun than balloons nowadays because they're just annoying now. Did they pop back then? And if they did they sound the same? I doubt it. They were probably louder. If they're doing intestines, they probably sound like a fart.
I don't know the answer to that. Couldn't tell you.
So they made them into balloon animals, huh?
Yeah. And it wasn't until 1939 that the first clown, Henry Marr, made a balloon animal out of rubber. But he had no idea he was acting out an old Aztec ritual, and I don't think he set them on fire.
So what's up with these origins, like getting lost the time and then coming back randomly? Like balloon animals and fucking bowling. You know?
I don't know, I think everything comes full circle. Well, look at how the Romans have like indoor plumbing and all this infrastructure, and then it went away, and then now, obviously in the last couple hundred years, it's all come back.
Yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, they were years ahead back then, and then all of a sudden guess they don't want to do that anymore. That's why we need to do one on the rise and fall of the Roman Empire.
Oh, yeah.
And that is you.
Oh, yeah.
Because you were a man.
Rome. Man. That's all I think about 24/7.
That's what TikTok says.
All my For You page.
Not anymore.
Well,
we're on to the next trend.
It's still there. R.I.P. Never forget.
Good. All right. So what about mini golf?
Some woman got real upset that her husband beat her. Actually, no, that's not true. Because if that's the case, golf came first. Golf was
Golf did come first.
around for a long time.
Yep.
And golf stands for gentlemen only, ladies forbidden, right? So it didn't have anything to do with a woman. Now, some dude got beat in a golf game, and he's like, this is fucking stupid. And then he made his own miniature golf game and decided to putt really well because his long game was shitty.
No. But good guess.
Was I close?
No.
Well, I tried.
It's just another instance of the patriarchy not wanting women to be golfing.
Oh, even with mini golf?
Nope. Hang on. So, we owe the Scots, of course. Golf started off in Scotland, if you knew that.
I think I did. But I don't think it became popular until the English.
Maybe. I didn't go into golf. I just dug into the mini golf.
Oh, okay.
So, I just know back in the 1860s, the Scots opened up. And anyway, so we owe the Scots a good old-fashioned putter's salute for inventing the game in the beginning. While the exact person who invented mini golf is not known, back in 1867, the Ladies' Putting Club of St. Andrews was created. This has been dubbed as the first known putting club in history.
A woman's putting club?
Yep.
Oh.
This members-only green for women golfers was a rebellion against society's belief at the time that ladies taking the club back past their shoulder was particularly uncouth.
Hell yeah. Fight 'em, women.
So the fact that we couldn't, make long drives because, I don't know if it was because the skirts would go up because, you're raising your arms.
The men would get intimidated.
Then you got, showing the ankles and you can't do that. I don't know.
Oh yeah, and your shoulders too.
The first mini golf course was in a colorful wonderland with motorized obstacles and loop-de-loops. Sad, but it's true.
I know.
It was more like a patch of grass with short distances between the putter's starting point and the hole.
Short little putts.
Like, fuck you. You won't let us golf with you. We'll make your own golf course.
I'm just gonna putt the whole time. You can kiss my ass.
And then by 1912, the first golf stickle is what they called it.
A golf stickle? I love
Instead of
it.
an obstacle, a golf stickle, was advertised, spicing up the game with a few obstacles. It wasn't until 1916 when James Barber designed a mini golf course in North Carolina with a few bells and whistles that the novelty began.
Okay.
There were fountains and gardens and walkway patterns, a real showstopper for players.
I bet you they look a lot cooler than the shit they do now.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. They were taking risks.
They were. I wouldn't mind. I think it's probably still there. It's in North Carolina. We should look it up.
Ooh.
Can't remember what it was called. I didn't write it down.
Probably something like happy-go-lucky fun time mini golf course, family-friendly fun.
No, it was very Gallic sounding. So the last one I have on my list is candles and a birthday cake.
Candles and birthday cakes.
Yeah. Why would we put candles on a birthday cake?
To celebrate the new year of your life.
That's pretty good. But it started out as a tribute to the moon goddess,
Artemis?
Artemis.
Really?
The earliest stories of candles and cakes are linked to the ancient Greeks. Once a month,
Fucking of course they are.
they would celebrate the birth of Artemis, goddess of the moon, by making round cakes. Lit candles would be placed on the cake to represent a glowing moon, and their smoke would carry wishes and prayers of the sky-dwelling gods.
She's also the goddess of the hunt.
Oh, yeah, she is.
Mm-hmm. So moon and the hunt.
Yeah.
Which would make sense because night, hunting goes together.
Mm-hmm. The cakes offered to Artemis would not be recognizable as the cakes we enjoy today, though. It was around the 1600s when cakes changed to be layered, covered in frosting, and richly decorated.
Oh, what did they look like before?
At the time, a cake like that required high-quality elements in production, meaning it was a luxury for the super wealthy.
Oh, okay.
So basically, the cakes were just round cakes filled with honey. They were just like honey cakes. Nothing too fancy.
No frosting, huh?
No.
But they still had candles.
Yeah.
Man, they missed out.
Did they? Because they had honey, so they still had something sweet on it.
Yeah, but they could have made a frosting out of milk.
I probably didn't care.
Or they didn't know.
Yeah, no one really played around, maybe. They didn't want to waste ingredients.
That's true.
Who knows? It wasn't until the industrial age in the 1760s onward that mass production made ingredients and equipment cheap enough for the common man.
That's fair.
Yeah. The first well-documented case of candles being placed on a birthday cake comes from Germany, of course,
And the Germans again.
in 1746. A man named Count Ludwig von Zinzendorf,
What a name.
Count Ludwig von Zinzendorf, held a lavish birthday celebration at his home.
His name sounds lavish enough. He doesn't have to need to be throwing fucking parties, dude.
I can call you Ludwig from now on.
Jesus.
He held a lavish birthday celebration at his home, which included a large cake with candles stuck into it, and the number of candles corresponded with his age. From there, birthday cakes and candles seem to have spread throughout Germany and then through Europe. It is not clear how and why, but about the 1850s, records start to appear. So you combine that and the few traditional balloon animals, then you got yourself a birthday party for a child.
Did he have balloons too? Oh no, because the balloons were made out of
Right.
rubber.
By that time, it was. Yeah.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So they didn't have helium. Did they still, I'm talking about the rubber balloons, okay? We're still on the birthday cake here.
Yeah.
But the rubber balloons, did they float as good as the intestines?
I'm sure they didn't float.
That's interesting.
Tis.
So what I'm gathering here is that the majority of our origins are going to be Greek
Yeah.
ancestry, adopted by German ancestry, adopted by the rest of the world.
Correct.
So if Germany was wiped off the map, okay,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say hypothetically we dropped a bomb in World War II, Germany's gone, no longer here, it's just England or Asia or
Mhm.
whatever, whoever would have bought that
Russia.
country. And we wouldn't have had any of this cool stuff. Any of the stuff we know now.
Yeah, probably.
Our timeline would be very, very different.
Not in World War II. All this stuff was all invented before the 1930s.
Yeah, but they would have been lost to history. Just gone. Maybe.
Possibly.
Could be.
I don't know about that.
How about the Great Depression? That affected them, right?
Yeah, that was more of an American thing.
Fair enough.
Well, that's all I have for you tonight.
That's all you got.
That's all I got.
That's all you got. What was your favorite one?
the lettuce.
You like the lettuce?
I just thought it was so freaking ridiculous.
That is
And I
ridiculous.
thought I thought you'd think that was pretty funny.
Do you think the lettuce and the flipping the bird was like in the same kind of sort of time frame? Because they both have like dick jokes implanted in it.
Yeah, probably.
But the God Min, you guys should look it up because it's impressive. Let me tell you.
It's amazing.
Like I said before, good for him.
I was looking it up today and I was laughing. People probably thought why I was laughing in my office today, but I was like, this made me laugh.
My favorite one was the bird. Flipping the bird.
Oh, I know, you died.
It's so funny. Some guy's trying to help somebody on stage and he just starts flipping them off.
He's like, you're wrong. You're an idiot.
Yeah, fuck you.
Look at my dick and balls.
Exactly. Well, that's it and that's everything, huh, dear?
Tis.
All right, well, let's get out of here. Thanks for coming, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for coming on this journey. We appreciate it.
Absolutely. Now it's ready for me to go to my bedchamber.
To bed it is. As always, I'm Tyler.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And this is the Edible Attitude Podcast.